did not feel like an earthquake to me. It was like an explosion. There was no rumbling. It was an instant, and we thought, my husband and I thought that there was a house explosion. It did not seem like a typical earthquake. And, you know, that kind of concerned me. And I also am concerned about, they don't talk about the chemicals. We don't know if they're volatile. They have, my son-in-law is a professor at Harvard, and he sent me articles and said that they have no idea. They did the science, it's one of the science things of 2011. They have no idea what the results are gonna be from this. And they don't know what the chemicals, they said, I guess there are some wells that are a little bit older, and they have found that there's an increase in leukemia and birth defects in people that live in that area. So I'm concerned not so much about the earthquakes, because obviously there's something happening and it's man-made. It's not of nature, I don't think, the way it happened. But there's a lot of problems with the chemicals, and that they don't know. There's no safety. There's no safety net saying that this is going to be safe.
To answer your question on the way the earthquake felt, probably hadn't had enough earthquake experience here in Ohio to know what a typical earthquake is like.
Really?
So if you base it on what you maybe saw in the media with earthquakes in California, earthquakes in Japan, it's entirely different here in Ohio for a couple of simple reasons. One of those is that we don't have soft, well, the biggest one is that these earthquakes are relatively small earthquakes compared to what we get in these other areas.
Right.
That's one of the reasons. But the reason why the earthquake wave travels very quickly, it's very sudden, it doesn't last very long, is because it's traveling through very firm bedrock straight up to the surface where we don't have loose, sloppy, water-saturated materials like you have in San Francisco Bay, for example, or along coastal areas of Japan, where it's basically like shaking a bowl of jello. And so it's a different feel to it. And virtually everybody I've talked to explains it the same way you do. I mean, the most common thing I've heard is like, I thought a car hit my house.
Yeah.
And they went outside to look to see if there was a car, and they noticed their neighbors were all doing the same thing. So, yeah, as far as leukemia and all those things, I can't really comment on that. But there's a lot of studies done on a lot of different things.
Of that, because that's not mentioned. The volatile chemicals are not mentioned.
Yes, sir.
These million